I'm gullible, man. Everybody is, but like sometimes I will believe shit that I look back and I go, oh, there's people that I've been in love with where I look back and I go, oh, dude. Oh, it didn't work out. You don't say. That's great. I don't understand how that would. You're like, fuck, dude. You jump from one fucking maniac to another, and you're like, I don't get it. Why does it end up blowing up in my face? I'm like, because you're not in love with that person. You're in love with having somebody around. You're fucking terrified to be by yourself. Because you fucking have always been by yourself. That's the craziest thing. I'm terrified to be by myself. I've always been by myself. You're alone anyway, you fucking retard. Oh no, I need somebody. No, you don't. You've never had anybody. So anyway, I'm talking to this guy on the phone. And I think I've talked about it. Where he said, do you want to know the meaning of life? And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, you listening? And I go, yeah. Because it's already annoying. And he goes, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Wait for it. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And I remember I had the phone and I went, hello? And he goes, did you hear that? And I was like, oh yeah. And he goes, life is like being on a boat on a stream. And I was like, I fucking hate you. I didn't say it, but I was like, oh yeah? But I hate this guy. And I realized right there and then that this guy is a moron. And that people pay him. This fucking guy. I paid this guy. I can't remember how much it was. But like I was supposed to go see him and do the medicine. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'll be tripping balls with this jerk off in the same room. No way. I'd rather die than hear him merrily. Then he called me a second time. We talked a second time. And because he tells these other retards the merrily thing, he fucking went to tell me it again because he forgot that he told me the first time. And I was like, you're joking me, right? And he's like, what? And I'm like, you're not going to do the merrily. And he's like, oh, have I told you? And I was like, yes. And he goes, I should be on your podcast. Again, I go, not Brianna's fault, Brianna had a guy that's probably a little bit more experienced, and now this is his protege. And maybe, it's like the placebo thing. If you believe it, maybe it will help. But when I realized that I'm smarter than this man, I no longer can take him serious, and now he's annoying me. And this is back when I was still in a dark spot. Don't annoy me, Like you're not helping. You're making it worse because now I feel like a fucking idiot. Because there's idiots out there that think I'm dumber than them and that I'm going to go for this. I think it was like $1,000, man. I can't remember. But I was like, no. And then he was like, have you ever listened to the Joe Rogan podcast? And I was like, this guy is saying all the wrong things to the wrong guy. Like, if you're trying to help me and you say, have I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast? I hate you. Because, yeah, I've heard that. He's like, you should be more real and just say what you're thinking. And I was like, have you heard my show? And he was like, no. And I was like, you might want to check it out. Because I kind of, what you see is what you get, kind of. That's my thing. It's kind of my thing before it was Joe Rogan's thing. It really, and I'm like, yeah. So I've been around before him, and like, I'm not as successful, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to copy Joe Rogan. I was before Joe Rogan, being me on the air. I hate you. I hate you. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. This is definitely not something I'm interested in. And he's like, you sure? We still have like a bunch of phone calls, and then we have the plant medicine thing. And I was like, I'm absolutely not doing plant medicine with you. And he's like, you're sure? And I was like, absolutely. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't remember how I ended it, but I was like, this is insane. I don't know if I said you're a retard. I was like, I don't like you. Like, I don't like this. Please lose my number. I do not wish to speak to you again. And then he tried to text me, and then I blocked his number. And I think I can't remember for sure, but I think I called Brandon. I was like, hey, make sure that fucking jerk off never calls me again. But it was like, when you're in desperate times, these people prey on you, and I don't know if he knew he was preying on me. Like, I think sometimes people believe that they are a specialist, but I don't know. I'd rather just leave it. But I had this feeling that he knew that he was preying on me for being weak. Also, the other girl that I unfollowed on Instagram that was, talk to this spiritual guidance lady that, like, she can talk to her and she can release the demons from your soul or something. Like, I was desperate, man. Desperately trying to snap out of the misery. I was just, the divorce and the failure of the podcast and being fired from Sirius and falling from grace. The kids weren't living with me anymore. Everything that I thought I needed was gone. The mother of my children didn't speak to me. I was in OnlyFans. I'd posted videos of me doing crazy stuff, dude. That one's hard. Because you're just going down this road where, that's the other thing. It's like people steer you into this thing. It's not their fault. Like, Katie didn't mean, I don't think she was like, I'll make you do gay porn and post it on the internet and that'll ruin you. And there was no, she loved me. She got her own demons, like she was doing stuff on the internet too. So I don't think she realized that, to me, being a dad and all that, that was going to be something that I would look back on and be like, man, you're a bad person. You're a bad parent. You're a bad guy. That was the hardest thing to forgive myself for. That was the hardest thing out of all the things I've had to do with my sobriety, is to be like, look, you didn't mean it. You didn't do it intentionally to make other people's lives difficult. You didn't do any of this to hurt anybody, but you did. And you got to forgive yourself. Because if you don't forgive yourself, you're no good to anybody anymore. You got to let it go. So, I unfollowed this girl. That's the other thing. It's not their fault. There's a darkness. There's a bad vibration with it where it's like, why don't you ride your horse? And I'm like, the video has me riding the horse. Wait, what? Who is this person? I'm like, oh, it's the lady that referred me to the special. I'm out. It's not your fault, but like, you're annoying to me. You make me not like me. Not your fault. Just, I don't like it. I don't want to be around it. All the best to you. I'm out. But getting back to this person. Also, by the way, all these conversations that I'm doing, all the things I'm saying right now, and how I am going back to what my point was, recollecting that there was a point. I don't know if any of you know or can remember, but do you remember Jason not knowing how to do this? I would say, Tully, what the fuck am I talking about? Where am I going? What is the point? I could not remember what the conversation was and what started it. We're talking about a girl at the very start that had the flowers, and she brought up a thing on Twitter that reminded me of the guys crying naked. Well, guess what? That's the whole point of this story, is where it all, I've covered all the tracks now. There was, at one point, I was put in a camp for people that had emotional breakdowns.